Hi, this is Paul from Rosie's 1901, 3200 Halls Mill Road in Mobile. In the past few months, we've done some podcasts with law tigers, and we will continue that today. And the reason we're doing it today is we have a new representative for this area that's handling the Florida Panhandle and South Alabama, and is our representative for this area. And I wanted to introduce you to him. I've known Michael for a long time. Michael Stieber's been with Riders for Riders, A-Bait, Mobile Bay Vintage Motorcycle Club, just about anything if it had to do with motorcycles, you were here.
Yes,
also
sir.
with the Distinguished Gentleman's Ride, you're always here with that as well.
Correct.
So he's a staple item around here. So we see him a lot more often than a lot of other people do. And we're so glad to have you as the new rep for Law Tigers.
Thank you, Paul.
Can you tell me a little bit about how you got in with Law Tigers? I think you had a firsthand experience, did you not?
I did, yes, Paul, and thank you for having me here. Back in 2020, I was in a motorcycle accident, so I reached out to Law Tigers. I had actually met a representative here. You had them come to one
Right.
of the Mobile Bay Vintage Motorcycle Club meetings, and so just became friends with them and reached out to them, and ended up using their services, and from there, just became friends with everybody. They were great, and opportunity arose to work part-time for them. I was helping the previous manager,
Right,
Allie,
you were, yeah, right.
with some events around here for about a year or close to
Right.
it. And then when the opportunity arose to go full-time, I jumped at it.
Yeah, well, you had done a great job when you were filling in.
Yeah, thank you.
Because you were at local over at Cycle Gear, and then you did some things with Billy E's across the bay.
Yep.
And that means a bunch when you have a local rep. It's one thing to be able to talk to somebody if you've got a problem. And if you've got a problem with having had a motorcycle accident or incident or problems with your insurance company or things that are like that are motorcycle related, it's so much nicer to be say, hey, can I talk to you a minute? Instead of over the phone or trying to do an email. And you seem to be very accessible about anywhere you are. So that's a good thing.
Definitely, and that is something we've kind of lacked here in Mobile. While the territory does cover Mobile and Florida, we have not had a representative, like you said, here in Mobile.
Right,
So
yeah.
it is.
Well, Allie had such a huge territory. I
Correct.
mean, she lives in Panama City. She's over here. She's back over there.
Yep.
Now you're having to go to Panama City and then back over here too.
Correct. Yeah. So Mobile's,
It's
going to
still
see
a
me
big
a lot,
territory.
and every once in a while, Panama City will see me.
Yeah,
Quite
but
the
at least this
opposite.
is where your bed is here,
Correct.
here in Mobile, which is a
Correct.
good thing.
Yes, sir.
Tell me something about Law Tigers itself. That they pride themselves on not only helping motorcycle riders, but they themselves are motorcycle riders.
Correct. Everybody has to ride, and so that's the lawyers, all the marketing managers. Everybody's definitely in the community where they're based at, and that's something they pride themselves on. Is not just asking for your business, but getting out there and taking part in the community events and different clubs and organizations, and actually being just like everybody else.
Well, when they have their annual meeting out in Arizona, they normally go riding somewhere. Everybody brings their bikes and rides.
They do, and we're talking about maybe for the Southeast managers getting together here later
that'd be
this year,
great.
and meeting and doing a couple-day ride or something. So yeah, it's definitely one of the main points of the organization is just everybody needs to ride and enjoy it.
If somebody has a problem and they need Law Tigers, what kind of services do they provide?
So they provide, in my case, and a lot of cases with accidents, they're just kind of a liaison between insurance companies, the hospital, and themselves. So, when I was in the hospital, if somebody called me, I'd just say, speak to my lawyer. And so it's really something, it was a big relief off of my mind and a lot of people's minds, because that's the last thing you want to be thinking of when you're in an accident or in a hospital bed, is dealing with all that. They also kind of offer some rewards for stolen bikes. They can lead to finding them, hit and run. So there's a lot of different aspects that they help with.
Well, where it really comes in like in your particular case, one thing that I remember that the doctors told you, yours was a pretty serious accident, and they were telling you might not walk again. So the last thing you need to be dealing with is somebody who's trying to settle with you in your hospital bed about what's happened. You don't even know what condition your bike is. You don't even know what condition you are. And so by having a personal representative like somebody from Law Tigers has got to take a lot of pressure off.
It does. And from the first moment I spoke to, the attorney, Matt, who's based in Birmingham, he just kept saying to me, you just focus on recovering. And that was something I took to heart and was able to do. Like I said, they might have got sick of it, but anytime I got a call, I was like, just call Matt, call my lawyer.
Right.
And they just handled everything. So it was definitely a relief.
And what coverage does Law Tigers have? I know they're not in all 50 states, but I do know that I think that if you call and they're not in that state, they can try to hook you up with someone who deals in motorcycles in that area.
Yeah, they're in about probably 30, 35 states. And yes, a lot of lawyers are licensed in various different states. So yeah, it just depends on the area and kind of where they're licensed to practice in. So, but yeah, if you call 1-800-LAW-TIGERS, somebody would definitely lead you in the right direction if they can't assist you themselves.
So what do they need to do? If someone needs Law Tigers, how do they get in contact with you?
Yeah, you can go to lawtigers.com. You can call 1-800-LAW-TIGERS, or you can call me directly at 850-771-5130.
Okay. And let's see, I know you go and set up at a lot of events, and a lot of things you're doing is on the weekends.
Correct.
So a lot of these rides that you run up on or rallies or whatever, you'll see the Law Tigers tents everywhere.
Oh,
of course,
yeah.
they all had a huge presence at Daytona.
Yeah, we were down there for a little over 2 weeks, and that was a blast. I got to meet Adam Sandoval.
Did you really?
Yeah, he stopped by the tent, and it was kind of just a big, opened my eyes quite a bit. That was right when I started, so I got to learn to set up, setting up the big inflatables and stuff was a lot of fun. Met some managers from different states, and it was just a blast. So,
Well, what would you say would be your number one question that you get from people when they're just talking with you in general about Law Tigers?
A lot of them, just in general, are under the misconception that we sell motorcycle insurance.
Okay.
That is not something we do. We strictly handle motorcycle accidents and injuries. So, that's something I'm asked about a lot and have to straighten out and just kind of make sure people understand, what we do and what we're here for.
And go ahead and give us that telephone number, because I know you got one.
Yep. My number, if you want to reach me directly, is 850-771-5130, or you can call 1-800-LAW-TIGERS.
Okay. And where are you on Facebook?
I'm under the Law Tigers Florida Panhandle page.
Okay. Yeah, because we're Alabama, so we need to get the Florida Panhandle thing
Correct.
in there.
Yeah. I cover Mobile and Baldwin counties, and then up to Dothan and all the way to Tallahassee.
And if you have Facebook, he actually has some great, when he goes to other motorcycle shops in the area, he normally tells about what's happening there, takes some pictures of stuff that's around. There are a lot of neat motorcycle shops in this area that some people never really see. They're not major advertisers. A lot of them are not major brands. They're one-off type things. They do baggers, or they do this, that, and the other. So it's amazing the pictures that when you post them, I thought, I didn't know they were here, especially when you're talking about over in the Florida Panhandle, because I don't get to Pensacola, Panama City around that way very often. What events do you have coming up in the near future?
Well, the riding scene is definitely kicking in. Next weekend I'm actually off. But the following weekend, the 10th and 11th, I'll be over in Pensacola, Harley. They're having a 4-day event, so I'll be over there on the Thursday and Friday to celebrate with them. The Saturday, the 12th, I'll be at Cock Custom Paint and Alter Ego Designs at Fort Walton Beach. They're having a big demonstration and show. Yeah. And then, of course, Sunday the 13th, the Mobile Bay Vintage Motorcycle Club has their 28th annual Dauphin Island Vintage Motorcycle Show.
And we're all looking forward to that.
Yeah.
That's a biggie for everybody around here.
It is. Aside from Barber here and maybe 1 or 2 other events, it's probably one of the larger events in Alabama. It can draw upwards of 5,000 people walking through there in a day. So that's always a fun event.
And if you've never been there, you will see some bikes that you have never seen before.
Oh, yeah.
Definitely. I mean, at Barber's, you expect it. You expect, well, I've never seen one of those. But there's some one-off bikes that are manufacturers that are vintage and very rare and very expensive that show up at the Dauphin Island Bike Show.
There is. Usually there's, 100 to 115 bikes, and we get people, the past few years, been coming down from Memphis and North Mississippi, Louisiana, Florida. So we get a good showing, and like you said, a great representation of motorcycles.
Absolutely. Now, is Billy E's tomorrow night?
It is.
Okay, and you'll be there, right?
I will be set up
Okay.
there, and that's been a great event. He's been gung-ho about the motorcycle
He is
industry.
doing great. He is doing great. He is really opening the doors to a lot of people and to a lot of different manufacturers around too. Because
Correct.
if it's a motorcycle, Billy likes it. It doesn't matter. And the food and the atmosphere, I think the last month's meeting was the biggest that y'all have had.
Yeah.
It was the largest for the
generally,
monthly
Yeah,
meeting.
he gets about 70 to 100 bikes there. And,
Wow.
it's just been growing every time. And like you said, you'll see vintage bikes to modern bikes to Ducatis to Moto Guzzi's to Harleys to just everything in between. That's what's great. And everybody gets along, and it's just a great, fun time.
It really is. And if you're going to see any of the events around, be looking for Michael, because he will be there somewhere if it's around and he's around the area. Of course, you can't be everywhere at one time. I understand that.
Correct.
Because you're going to have Thunder Beach is going to be coming up on us not
that is
too
coming up.
far down the road.
Yep, the end of April, first
Yep.
week of May, I'll be
Yep.
over there. So
you'll be over there with that one as well.
correct.
Absolutely great.
Yep.
Listen, if you need anything that has to pertain with an accident or an incident or anything that you've got a question for, don't hesitate to call Michael at Law Tigers. And we do have some swag in here always from Law Tigers, pins and all kinds of neat little things that they leave for us to pass on to our customers as well. So remember Law Tigers anytime you need help. Remember Michael, he's here to help you. And remember us, Rosie's 1901, 3200 Halls Mill Road in Mobile.